to the channel, Trucker Rod, S.E.E channel. And it's Wednesday evening here in Battle Creek. I left Sunday morning, had an interesting week in the snowstorms down in the Appalachias. But before we get started, if you could like, share, and subscribe, help the channel grow, get the algorithm going, getting it circulated out there. We're definitely trying to move forward with things. Apologize, I haven't put anything out in the last couple weeks as through the holiday. Took some downtime to just get myself rested, along with we were working. So let's recap here. Holiday week, let's see, the Monday before Christmas Eve, because we had Christmas Eve, Christmas Day off. I ran a route out in the thumb area of Michigan, and freezing rain. It was atrociously terrible. I pretty much ran, I think I only had like 30 minutes left on my clock when I got back in, so I almost ran a 13 and a half, 14 hour day. So yeah, that was interesting. Then what did I do? I went, had those 2 days off, and I ran Thursday, Friday, and I ran that down to, I ran Indiana and down to Louisville. So I did the eastern side and some of the western side of Indiana, along with dipping down in southern part of Louisville and then coming back up. So that was a 2-day run. Then I took, had about 5 days off with Saturday through New Year's Day, as I had to take that Saturday after Christmas. Had to go down and pick my camper up and get that back to the campground. Actually, it was a 50-55 degree day, and I appreciate my good friend there, John Gross, for helping me out. He came and picked it up. We took it over to the campground, and we actually got it set up and leveled. Unbelievable. It was like a end of April day there. So we nailed it just right because the snow came in a couple days later. I got a bunch of stuff done around the house. In contrast to that, I got less productive with swerving to miss a deer in my daily driver, my red Ford Fusion, and bent 2 rims as I hit the curb. So I bought 4 new rims. They're home, so I'm going to be home tomorrow. I got to drop this off, and we'll talk about that, because this is going to be the second time in 2 weeks this is in the shop. But yeah, I got to get the rims mounted and alignment done. Swerving to miss a deer. So I missed a deer but bumped the curb, and just enough to jar the car and throw it out of alignment, and I chewed the snot out of the rims. So it doesn't take a rookie to make a rookie mistake on certain things. But yeah, let's see. I got back from that Louisville run, and the ABS light, which the first thing this did was it went down last year, 2 months after I had it. And so February of last year, it was in the shop for 5 weeks. They had to put a new control module, a bunch of wire harnesses, sensors, and all that for the ABS traction control. Got it back after the first week of March was over, and then all that stuff kicked in again that week of Christmas. Therefore, dropped it off at the shop. They had it, got it back at New Year's Eve. Went back out, everything was fine till this Sunday when I got into, which was this week's crap storms, and it's back on again. So it's the traction control, you can feel it every now and then, kicking in and out, wanting to actuate the wheels while you're, especially pulling in the hills. Yeah, then last week I ran Thursday, Friday. Oh, I did Western Ohio, from the northeast corner of Ohio, northwest corner of Ohio, Bryan, Ohio, all the way down close to Columbus, down to Cincinnati, over to Lexington, came back through Louisville, made it back last Friday night. So did my 34-hour restart. Right at my 34, got in the truck Sunday morning at 5, so I had great weather going down. My first stop was Beckley, West Virginia, Sunday. Made a Sunday delivery. And Michigan and Ohio, dry, overcast, dry roads, able to run the speed limit. Got into Nitro, Charleston, West Virginia there on 64, got into flurries, and coming at the south end of Charleston, got into the sleet and snowstorm. Made my delivery there in Beckley, and I appreciate Eric and Robbie there for helping me out. They were questioning whether or not I was going to make it and all that stuff because it was hard for them. He ended up buying a 4-wheel drive truck so he could get up in the mountains for deliveries for his business. So got in the parking lot and unloaded, but I struggled. It took me about 20 minutes to get that truck, get this out of there, and ended up at the Love's Truck Stop in Covington, Virginia. I was going to do a live stream Sunday night from there, but when I got there, my windshield wiper was like that big a round of ice. So it's just ice just wiping on the window all the way across 64 from Beckley to Covington there. So by the time I cleared all the ice and snow out of the cowl and all that and cleaned the wiper blades, I found my driver's side wiper blade was busted. And so therefore I had to go in the truck stop, buy what they had, and got those mounted. The snow then came in hot and heavy. Got about another 4 inches there, but the freezing rain came in after that. So Monday this week, Monday morning, got into Covington, and I was probably the only truck in there making deliveries. The owner of the business I delivered to, he was on the fire department. He was out making around, so he saw me, and I followed him in from the truck stop 6 miles away, and got into town. Police were there to at least keep the main street, because normally I deliver behind the store. So delivered on Main Street, got maneuvered back out of there, and we just fought tooth and nail. The truck, because down there, like West Virginia, coming from Michigan and living in Michigan, to them, Michigan snowplows, like snow plowing up here is like having an arsenal of National Guard rescuing you. We just take it for granted here in Michigan that everybody owns a snowplow. Counties, cities, municipals have snowplow trucks with salt bins, and it's never a problem. Down there, in one town, I probably counted 2 plow trucks, and other than private, individuals that may have a plow on their truck, but like the cities and that, it's a struggle. And I found that out firsthand, getting into the meat and bones of many of those towns. From there, Roanoke on Monday, and 3 out of my 5 customers were able to make it in. Nobody was open, but they came in upon, giving them an ETA. So I got there, got what I could unloaded. Most of them I couldn't back up to their docks. What I would take for granted every day of the year outside of the snow and ice, back right in, bump the dock, kick everything off, and pull out of there. This time around, I had to really work to get the truck turned around in certain areas, get it facing back out as an exit strategy first, and then get unloaded out. A lot of, I think just about all but 2. I had to unload in a main street like Covington. 2, 1, 2, 3, 3 of them at a on the main street in front of the main store where I couldn't get to the warehouse. Got out to Martinsville, which was surprisingly. I got out to a Rocky Mount, spent the night at Dudley's truck stop there, my little favorite truck stop. It's funny, I went in there to use the restroom and just walk around, and because it was nice there to Martinsville, Virginia, and guy still remembered me and just asked me how it was going. I said, anything north of here up into the heart of the mountains. I said it's horrible, but they just had like ice on the tree limbs and that, some ice on the grass, but the roads were dry and no snow accumulation. But Martinsville was good and clean and easy to get in and out of, so made good time there. Two of my customers could not make it in Monday because they were stuck in their houses, not able to get out of their house because they live, up on a hill, and they come down their driveway. They weren't going to make it back up it, so they waited till Tuesday morning. I got them kicked off yesterday morning and went out another town, Parisburg, Virginia. That town was just covered in ice. The city was out there with bags of salt and chisels just trying to clean the sidewalks. So the businesses, try to prompt to get the businesses back open. And so I ended up turning around. The city workers helped me get turned around in town, just concurring that the customer was closed. But I got up into McDowell County, if you know where that is. That's north of Bluefield. And that's up in the mountains. I got up there. 52 was good, but the north end of Bluefield and many of the small towns, as you're walking through them, going up 52 to Welch, and then the next little town past Welch is Rotterfield. There's a lot of the ice really hit them hard to where when you're going up 52, you got mountains on each side, and trees are like this growing off the side of the mountains. Well, that ice came in, and then the trees the weight of the ice pulled trees down onto the road and took the power lines down. So there was so much power line and power outage going up there. They had come through, did the first wave, came through and cleared the trees out of the road. Then the power crews were assembling in each town, getting ready to go out and start rehanging wires, because they had to pull, they had to cut the trees away from the wires to get them picked up off the ground. But Rotterfield had power. I dropped there, turned around, came back down to Bluefield because I was not getting in the back roads and the switchbacks. There was no way in hell I would even try muscling this truck. Even with my skill set, I said I am not jeopardizing putting this truck in harm's way or doing any damage. So I came back down to Bluefield, jumped on the 460, pretty much had blue skies there. I ran that over to almost all the way to Bristol, went up 23, and went up into Clintwood, then across last night from Clintwood to Whitesburg, Kentucky-Tennessee line. Then I took the Piney Wood there, climb across the 19 there from Whitesburg to Middlesboro. Made a delivery just before 7 o'clock last night, and then jumped across the street to the Casey's truck stop and spent the night there. Good weather yesterday evening and most of yesterday, other than just the going up to Rotterfield from Bluefield. None of that was plowed. 52 was minimally plowed. I could get up there. I probably counted. Normally there is a ton of coal hauling trucks running up there and coming back down, especially around Pineville and all that area. That's all coal mining country up there. Never saw a coal truck, not one, not even a coal truck in a dump truck form. All I saw was a roll-off trash and some straight trucks, box trucks and the power crew. So I made the good call to just come back down the main road and not venture off. And but I got all my stops off. Then I worked my way this morning out of Middlesboro and came up into Corbin. I got up to between Richmond. Well, I got to the 104 exit north of Richmond and south of Lexington, and the highway was shut down. So multi-car accident. Never got to see what it entailed because I was about 3 miles back on that, and I sat in that for 45 minutes. Got into Paris, Kentucky, picked up a load, and got going. I came around because Cincinnati, I think, probably took a harder hit, that and Dayton, so I made a judgment call to go Louisville and up to Indianapolis, and I'm glad I did. It was blue skies, dry roads, all the way up till I got, again, that was south of Lexington. Then I got into another one north of Indianapolis, and that one was probably between 5 and 10 minute backup stoppage on I-69. And then another one coming up to north of Fort Wayne. It was just like, if there was and that was more of a snow squall and any of that stuff. What really gets me is people are driving in a snowstorm on Sunday there in West Virginia on I-77. These teenage and these 20-year-olds, what's with you guys having to have a phone in your hand in the middle of a snowstorm? The car is literally squirming all over the road, and you're holding a cell phone in your hand. Like, if you take it out, your heart's gonna stop. Dear Lord, and this, in the folks with all-wheel drive, you're overdriving that vehicle. That all-wheel drive, all it does is give you good traction to take off and to help you get through deep snow. Otherwise, I have my big Ram truck, I have my Toyota Highlander, and I have my Ford Fusion. That damn Ford Fusion will outdo either one of those in snow and ice. Now, will it outdo them in the 8 to 12 inches of snow? No. But inch of snow and rain, or snow and ice, that Fusion will just go like a rocket, and it'll hold itself because it's low center to the ground. I don't know what it is with these people. They think they gotta have all-wheel drive. They're so codependent on that and these cell phones that's like, you can't drive because you're letting the IT in the car, your steering assist or whatever, the steering correctional, and in the all-wheel drive, you have no driving skill sets. You're basically dumbed down because of having that. And I've just been seeing it all week, and people just, horrible accidents, people in the ditches. I've even seen, where was that at? Coming across, there was the 460, the 81 from Roanoke to where Christiansburg and Blacksburg, I believe that's it. Christiansburg to Virginia Tech area. There was trucks flipped on the sides and all that from that ice and snowstorm. Same on I-64. There was vehicles in the median from the snow. It just amazes me. It's like, my whole mantra this week was, our company, it was just me and one other guy that got to drive or get out and deliver. How do I want to say, Ohio has this levels 1, 2, 3. They say 4. I thought it was 3. Like, if it's at a level 3 or 4, you can't be on the road, or you'll get ticketed because you're obstructing the emergency process of them clearing the roads and EMS and all that to get out and do their thing. So they turned most of the trucks around and brought them back in Monday, other than the guy up in Cleveland, because northern Ohio didn't get no snow. And I could vouch for that when I got this far today. Where was I going with this? So basically, I was the only one out there that far down. I picked up our backhaul. They called and said, will you pick the backhaul up? And I did that. But just seeing all these vehicles, slow and steady. My mantra is pay attention. My wife's in there moderating here in the chat. If you chime in or anything, say hello, wave a hand. Slow and steady wins the race. That's what I was saying to her, and that's what I was saying to my company. I said, I can get this done. I just can't be pressured, So if there's anything on the back end of this week, we're gonna have to see what I got for hours, and when I get back, I didn't think I was gonna be back till tomorrow. just for what I was dealing with Sunday, Monday, and half of Tuesday. But everything worked out. All of my customers worked with me. They're like, you tell me when you can be here, and I'll come back and just get you unloaded. So I want to say a good thumbs up, blessings to them for going out of their way, because they needed a product, because they also have a business that relies on that to make a sale and make a profit. So we got all that done. I'll run. I'm gonna get home tomorrow. I got to drop this off at Ryder, so it was at the Ryder shop for the ABS. It's gonna go back tomorrow, but I had a discussion with management and said you got to get on them to get this figured out. 3 times in a year that I've had this issue, besides the transmission going out. So this has been in the shop 4 times in the last 11 months, and I said this is too much. So we need to address this and get it taken care of. This truck needs to be on the road making money. Sitting in the shop right now, it's accumulated 2.5 months of downtime in the shop, and out of the last 12, 13 months. So I said, I can't show you a profit if this thing's breaking down all the time. So they're going to be on them tomorrow. I'll be dropping this off around 7:30 in the morning. Go home, get my car, get the rims for my car that are in the garage. I ceramic coated those. I got to go and get those installed and get the alignment. And then I got to run Friday. I'm gonna cover the Detroit run that we have, as we're basically a little behind because of the front side of this week. And many companies are. I've seen a lot of guys. I talked to a few guys Sunday night at the Love's Truck Stop there in Covington, and many of them, they needed, one guy said he had to be on the other side of Kentucky, and another guy was running up in Ohio, and because of all the restrictions and the bad roads, they're like a day behind making deliveries. So it's not just us. There was a lot of companies trying to get product moved, especially when you're in a mountainous terrain like that, through the Appalachias. And I'm sure it's even worse when you got to deal with Donner's Pass and all that jazz going through Colorado and all that. And of course, all the scenarios with I-80 through Wyoming and Nebraska. So if the trucks aren't like stuck in a 5 foot of snow, they're getting flipped over by the high winds. I'm thankful I don't have to cover out there. A little more stressful to me. And of course, East Coast, because it's already just a turd show trying to get in there, and adding snow and ice in the East Coast, New England states, makes it even harder. But yeah, so that's what's been going on. Got to spend some good quality time with the spouse, and we did some, just did some stuff together. Nothing, it was low-key stuff, nothing major. Just want to get my car fixed and back up tip-top shape to get back and forth to work. Been limping it along on the side roads until get those new rims on. But other than that, we got brand new trailers. So they replaced out the trailer I showed y'all last March. Was one of our lease trailers from one company. The other company, so we got we worked out a decent lease price, but we got, I want to say, 4 new trailers from them, maybe 5, and a whole different design of lift gate. So the trailers got delivered, I think, last Thursday or Friday. They loaded mine Friday afternoon, and I took off and put the first long miles on this trailer Sunday morning. Brand spanking new trailer, new style lift gate, and this thing is robust and different, quicker. It's got less electronics and circuit boards on it. That was the problem we were having with the other ones, is all the circuitries and that being exposed out in the elements would go every 3 to 6 months. We'd have one lift gate where they had to bring a tech or a mechanic out to bypass and get it to at least fold in and get in and get repaired. I like it. I looked it over, used it all week, not had a problem. They're really a robust lift gate. These things got some meat on them, and to open the flaps and all that, you definitely just can't just reach down and grab it. These things is like you're trying to flip an engine block over. So they're pretty heavy. When the weather clears, I'll show you that. Show you one of these trailers and in its operation. Pretty cool. It's a little narrower lift gate than what I'm used to, but I'm still able to get the same amount of product on there. Just it's tighter. I had a little bit more square footage on there on the old ones. So which I'll show when that time comes. But what we had problems with these trailers from this particular company was when we got the last batch of trailers from them, which we just turned in last week. When we got them brand new, we were going down the road in a rainstorm. The whole front third of the nose and the whole front third of the trailer would just flood out. It would just load up with water. And they kept saying, well, it's this, it's that. They were making excuses. And I said, no, trailers should not leak when you're putting product on there like that. An enclosed dry van trailer. So I got to run in all the spray, the wetness, the rain, the snow. Didn't see any water in there whatsoever, which I'm surprised. This first time, even the other company with their trailers, yeah, a little bit, but nothing major. But you'd have to be in some heavy rain. But so far, so good with this new trailer. I'm giving it a good 10 out of 10 so far. I like the liftgate design. My boss said, you tell me what you think. He goes, this should cut out a lot of the electronics and allow us to not have downtime with these liftgates. Because a lot of those trailers were having to go back to the shop, get them all re-overhauled in the electronics, come back, get a few more months out of them, get them repaired again. But this time we're trying to really watch the downtime, which kills, whether you're an owner-operator or a company with fleet drivers, your downtime is your negative, that's your liability. You know, mechanics, having mechanics on staff and jazz like that, that's a negativity on your, on your books. That's why it's so crucial to look at certain things. Whether I've seen companies look at certain brands of oils, coolants, hydraulic oils, tires, anything, even part brands, because if you can pay a little extra and get way longer life without coming back and replacing that part again, creating downtime, that's what you have to look into, and you got to be very conscious about that. And that's what I was getting at with the lift gate. So it looks like these lift gates, we'll see that we're getting them right now as the snow's coming in. What has killed these lift gates in the past with the electronics hanging back there is the spray from the tires of the trailer spraying all the salt on those. And then come springtime, that salt's embedded in there. So now we're going through spring, summer, fall. That's when everything starts going to hell in a handbasket, because that salt's gotten in there, and salt is caustic, and it will start eating up wires and any mounting surfaces and stuff like that, start distorting stuff, and obviously oxidizing the metal and creating rust and deterioration. So you gotta, so far I'm liking it. So as long as I don't have any downtime and I can just keep moving along and getting my routes done, that's the name of the game. But other than that, no, wife and I just spent, we don't do gift giving during the holidays, so we geez, she's gonna shoot me for this. We've been together 14 years. 13 and a half. So since July of 2011. And we, Christmas, birthdays, holidays, anniversaries, we don't, go out purposely and buy each other gifts. Our gifts to us are, when we want to buy a car, get that golf cart, when we have nice things, it's because instead of going out and buying all kinds of high-end little knickknacks. We agree on something each year. Is it something we can splurge on? This year's been nothing. Last year was nothing. Just keeping up house and vehicle maintenance. And hey, thank you, Honda man, hammer down. Yeah, I wish I was this week, but the weather. I've had to take the slow and steady wins the race into this adverse weather, and I got into it today. Once I got north of Angola, Indiana, and got up here into Battle Creek, it's right now it's snowing lightly, but the roads were getting slick and greasy. So I just pulled off here because I wasn't going to push it anymore, and I could see. I used the Trucker Path app, and I could see the truck stops were about 2/3 full, so it gives you an indication how full each truck stop is. And so this one I like coming to. It's a little truck. I like the little truck stops. They're more personable. Most of them are decently kept compared to the ones I had this discussion last week, I think, and someone asked me, they go, what truck stops do you usually stay at? And I said, I try to avoid the Pilot and Flying J's anymore. I may stop in there for a 30-minute break or something, but overall, I said, they've ran themselves in the ground. They're not renovating or upkeeping the current truck stops, and they're not building any new ones. Now, I'll give props to Love's. Love's is building a snot out of truck stops left and right. They're putting in more than I can count. Every time it seems like I turn down another road, there's another Love's being built out. They do a pretty good job, so I usually go to them. Another one I like on a national chain is Love's and the Petro TA. They usually have, Petros and TAs usually have bigger parking lots than the Love's. Love's has got the smallest parking lots for truck parking, spot wise. But the TA and Petros, they're usually more of a robust parking spot. And that's all I'm looking for. It's just a safe haven to park the truck, feel safe, and and if they got a shower, great. So this week was pretty good. Hopefully next week, hopefully next week I don't know, they're saying already another wave of snow down there. So I'm going to be on the road Sunday again, heading down there, and I'm going to probably anticipate that I'm probably going to be up against another shit show of snow and ice for next week. But yeah, this guy pulled into this 30-minute break. I thought he was spending the night next to me here to my passenger side, and he had a reefer trailer, and I was like, man, I got to listen to that all freaking night. But no, he's leaving. But nope, I appreciate y'all chiming in. Sorry I didn't get with everyone. It was a up and down roller coaster Christmas and New Year's week. And like I said, I had 5 days off. I had 1 day dedicated out of town, taking care of, my camper and personal stuff. And the wife and I needed to step away from YouTube and everything, and just needed a few days to just, her and I just be together and do our thing. What's the temp here? Take a look real quick. 22 degrees right now where I'm sitting. This is at the exit 110 on I-94. I call it the Johnny's Truck Stop because it's a Johnny's Market, but I think it's under a different name. Yeah, stop that. Oh, they're electronics. But they have a couple showers here. I think they only charge like $6 or $8. You got a Subway, but I don't eat Subway, but they have other delis and stuff in here. Pretty nice little truck stop. Don't need anything big and robust. But yeah, it's been, what night was it? It was either Sunday or Monday night. Monday night, it got down to 12 degrees, I think, down at Rocky Mount. So there was one night in the low teens, And I ran the snot out of this bunk heater at night. It'll max out at 93 degrees on the gauge on the S bar. I maxed it out and it ran. Here's the funny thing. I think it was Sunday night. Um, I ran the heater and I got the refrigerator going and all that, but it was running so hard, and I think I was down. I think I was there for about 11 hours. Well, that S bar heater works for 10 hours straight, and then you got to reset it. They got it set so it times out, so you do your 10-hour break. And it timed before it would time out. The batteries got low enough. The warning indicators went off in the bunk for the inverter that everything was powering down. So I had to jump up, come up, and start the truck and let the truck run the last hour and a half. Yeah, that was Sunday night. So, and that worked out fine. It got the windshield defrosted and all that by the time I got up to take a shower. So, yeah, it's not bad cold wise. Um, I know here when I started with these folks in the winter of 14-15, that was the first. That was the winter. The first time in 75 years that Lake Superior had frozen over, and I was dealing with January of 2015. We're waking up every morning at around -20 to -25, and it seemed like it just went on for like 20, was it like 26, 28 days straight. The lift gates would hardly work, the hydraulics just wouldn't move, and it was just getting to be a nuisance to the point I was questioning, am I doing the right thing unloading like this out in the cold? Like I was questioning my job, like should I be doing this or should I be finding something indoors? So, but we survived, and it sucked. It totally. I had an international day cab. And that thing leaked air going down the road for a newer truck. But I only think we had those trucks a year and a half, 2 years, and they got us out of the leases early because we had problems with them. The DEF system. The problem was with that truck in that cold temps that winter. That truck, the fuel was gelling up a lot, but the DEF system. It was such an early stage in 2014. I think that truck was a 13, and it was the early stage of DEF, and they didn't have the right heating elements in the DEF tank. And yeah, my truck is governed. Um, this one, I max out at 69 miles an hour. Um, the DEF, the diesel exhaust fluid, if it was freezing up on us on all our trucks. So we had to take into the hotel, we had to take and warm them up on the heater, a gallon of DEF, and then throw it in the tank and loosen it up to get the truck running. It was just a nightmare that whole winter. So we got out of those and into the Cascadias, and we never looked back after that. Um, but yes, every truck I've had, that truck I just talked about, that international, my first truck with these guys, that truck was governed for 63 miles an hour. Everybody else's truck was running like 65, 66. And it just felt like, oh, back in the 80s and early 90s when the speed limit was still 55 miles an hour. You talk about, you just felt like you're dragging your day with your foot against the floorboard, and 63 was all it'd give you. So they loosened the restrictions up over time, and in late 20, I want to say I got that second truck in is a 2017, but we got it in May of 2016. I think those trucks were set. They were set at 65, and then about a year later, they allowed us, the insurance company allowed us to go up to 69, so they could just go with the laptop, plug in to the OB outlet, and just readjust your speed limiter. And that's a big topic right now in the FMCSA, as they want, the government wants to put speed limiters on all the trucks. I don't know how they're going to do it with the old school trucks that are mechanically injected and all that. So I'm not a fan of speed limiters, but 69 is good and healthy for what I do. Um, you know, all the areas I run in down there are 70 miles an hour. Other than Indiana, parts of Ohio, in all of Michigan. Michigan, it's 65 for semis, even though it's 70, 75 in areas for cars. In Indiana's the same way. They got the split speed limit. And yeah, Swift and Prime side by side today at 63. Yeah, and I know, like, if I'm gonna go past someone, if I feel like my foot's already against the floorboard and I can barely pass them, I just stay behind them. I don't do that. Um, it's just not worth it. But yeah, the big mega carriers, you'll see those guys. If one guy's truck will go 1 mile an hour faster than a guy, that he's wanting to pass, they'll sit there for miles and miles, and you talk about just irritating and pissing you off. But I kind of know if I can't zip around them decently and I'm just going to take 5 miles to pass this guy, I'm just like, it's not worth it. Because then you got, um, no, farmer. So are you a farmer or is that what you're saying? Uh, I guess you'd have to explain more if you are or what. But, no, I get by. I pretty much I've gotten to where my wife will ride with me, and she's like, "How do you know that so and so up there?" I said, "You get used to knowing the back of someone's trailer." All right, Honda man. Being a farmer, and I worked on a farm. My mom and my mom's dad, my grandfather, they were dairy farmers growing up. So I worked on a farm for quite a bit up until I was about 19, 20 years old. So a lot of soybeans, navy beans, and corn, and a lot of two-speed rear axle on the grain trucks, the old gassers from the 60s and 70s. But Minneapolis Molenes on the one farm I worked for about a year and a half. So good times. I learned a lot. Holsteins, huh? Yeah. I don't know what kind of cows they had. Brown Swiss, if that sounds right. I think they did have Holsteins. They were dairy. I don't think he did much for cattle. If he did, I'd have to even ask my mom. She's getting a little fuzzy, but I'd have to see if she can recollect that. Um, that was up there by West Branch, Michigan. There in that area, they had a dairy farm. So, but I will say that I learned a lot in farming. In the winter time and in the fall, late fall harvest season, I'll tell you that those guys I worked for that farm, they didn't have all the nice heated cab tractors. You were out there in the open elements most of the time, and but yeah, with the govern, yeah, like I said, I'm good at 69 miles an hour, getting this done and doing my thing with these guys. I'm paid by the hour. That's why it doesn't bother me that hey, the speed limit's 70 for all the states I'm running in. Doing 69 is fine, and I'm paid by the hour. So there's no reason for me to do 75, 80. Now, if I was working out in Texas or somewhere where, or even like Wyoming, you get in a lot of the western states and they allow you to be 75, 80 miles an hour. I'd probably ask to get bumped up another 5 miles an hour, but no need to. And yep. And yeah, and that's the other thing too is my wife just chimed in, but farmers keep our country alive, and they do. We've teamed up in the last few years with our farmers co-op in our area and gotten to know the owners very well to where we buy a cow from them every 12 to 15 months. We supply ourselves with a fresh cow from them right off their farm. So we can go out, look at the cow, pick the cow, all that jazz. So we know, and then they show us all their process, how they're fed and all that, grass fed and all. So not any of the chemicals and stuff. Um, we've gotten a couple hogs, not from them, but they referred us to a place to get a couple hogs. We're still looking for a farmer to do chickens around our area where we can get, some chickens. So I have not heard any of that. But if eggs get any crazier on price, there's a couple farmers by us because, on each side of me, on the west side of me, is a chicken farm, for eggs. What is it? Sunrise eggs. Sunrise eggs. And then there's a few dairy farms right along the main road when I come out of my house and going to work. So I'm surrounded by all farm country around me, which I'd prefer to have. And bird flu joke. Let's see. Good old days. No, one guy want to do it all. Yeah, and that's just it. I talked to in my HOA. I've got like an HOA. We're like a 55 and over community where we're at. But the one guy that's semi-retired, he said he worked part-time with the dairy farmer down the road, and he said he was having a hard time because um, his kids didn't want to take the farm over. Um, and so he was stepping in to help him, with the slack, but he was just gonna, once his health couldn't do it anymore, he said he was letting the farm go and he was gonna parcel off the land to developers to make more neighborhoods, and that's happened. I think in the last 8 years we've seen an up of 250 or more homes in these cul-de-sacs being built around us. So all the farmland on the north and east side of our place is all built out, from hay fields and farmland to now it's just subdivisions or cul-de-sacs. I'm not a fan of it, and I told the wife I don't want to stay there forever. It was a way for us to get on our feet and get restarted. It was a lower cost housing, but we definitely want to step out of there at some point. But yeah, the bird flu. I think that bird flu out of California. I think this is going to be, even China saying this is not detrimental. It's just like any other flu that comes through the wintertime. So right now we're going to see if our government's going to try to make something out of this and be a propaganda and I think fool us once, shame on us. Fool us twice, shame on them. I am not going to what do I want to say, I'm not going to buy into it this next time around. I think we got duped the first time, and I think everyone's got their heads on the swivel to make sure we don't get duped again. I think Americans have woke up to say, don't tell us the news, just give us the information. We'll read it, we'll decipher it. And I think, no, I'm not a bull hauler, and I I run a dry van trailer. Household goods is about the extent of what I could say. We're a distribution company, so but I use a lift gate to get a lot of a lot of what I do ranges anywhere from 100 pounds to 450 pounds of unloading by hand. So I get a good workout each week. But this weather that we have dealt with has made it harder. So yeah, I've been a little more exhausted at the end of the day. Where yeah, tonight's been an easier day, and I got here early enough. I wanted to pop this live stream off and just chime in, get everyone caught up. Normally, I try to do about 3 to 4 of these a week, and I've been slacking the last couple of weeks as we've slid into the holidays. Um, I've been just a little distracted with just trying to get prep for the holidays and just doing single day runs instead of these long overnights. But anyhow, no, Honda Man, I appreciate you chiming in, and I love the name. I will say, I'm sure my wife knows where I'm going with this. She bought herself her first brand new car, was a 1997 Honda Accord, the 2.2 VTEC. And when I met her in 2011, she had that car. That car got us through hell and high water, through all of her medical issues and surgeries. And I will say, we just sold it in 2021 with 300,000 miles on it. So we had the car for 24 years, and it was a great car. And between Toyota and Honda, they're usually my number one go-to SUVs right now. So we settled on the Toyota Highlander for the wife. The Pilot and what's the other one they have, the CRV, didn't entice us any. But I love the Honda Accords and the Honda Civics. I've been kind of a tuner guy even in the 80s, with the Datsun 280Z from the 70s and that. And I was a mullet wearing guy driving a Datsun, getting shit ragged on me for driving an import. But I'll tell you what, you can't beat those damn engines. They go. And we've been pleased with it. And even with the Toyota, that thing is just, it's had it going on 6 years, and all I've done is change the oil on it. And that's it with the Toyota. Ford Fusion, Jesus, I have rebuilt the suspension on it now twice, gone through the brakes twice, and I think a lot of it has to do with the Michigan salt and the Michigan potholes. Prelude, yeah. Oh, geez, that's a good car. Yeah, the Prelude. Man, I want to say, didn't they showcase a few of those on the Fast and the Furious? But yeah, those are a good little tuner car. I that and the Civic. I think the Honda Accord is more of a, it's kind of more of a good daily comfortable car. But if you want to soup up something, we did when we revalved the top end of that motor on that, and we ran the valves a little tighter. That car had some get up and go for a little four cylinder, which I was very impressed with. But they said the 2.2 VTECs are very sought after engines on the Honda side. So, but anyhow, Honda man, I got soup and crackers sitting over here. I laid everything out before the live stream. I'm gonna get something to eat. Been going on nearly an hour. I appreciate you coming in and chiming in with us. That's great. Look for notifications from us. Hit that bell so you get notified. Um, I will probably try to do something from home if I can tomorrow, just to show everyone my mistake of hitting a curb with my car and ruining my rims. So I got to go get my new rims put on it. But kind of go over that. But anyhow, it's been fun and great, and we will be out here Sunday. So hopefully I'll get some live streams a little more steady on the live stream starting next week. So now that we got the holidays behind us. So until next time, stay safe, continue educating yourself. Knowledge is learned, not taught, and we will see you in the next video.